Okay, we are in Shaar Aleph Perek Tes Vav, and what we learned about is the delivery system of the neshama, which I pointed out is extremely important. I think I want to stress the importance today. But what happens is that the neshama is named after the neshima. Nefesh Hachaim explains, neshima means a breath, and it's not our neshima, but Hashem's neshima. That's what's important. And what you have here is he describes as the neshima of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kiviyachol, neshima of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, coming through the pipe called ruach, like a pipe, like a windpipe called ruach. Not the windpipe inside, but the windpipe outside, like as if you're blowing glass. And then finally ends up with the nefesh, which is us, and nefesh, as much as we usually translate it as soul, really means, Rabbi Chaim explains, al derech haloshin shavas vayinofash, the end of the procedure, the glass. The nefesh means the end. Nefesh Tuva. Nefesh Tuva. It's enough. I speak. That's what nefesh means. So the end product of this whole neshama is the nefesh. And therefore, we explained that you can call the whole process the neshama, or you can call the whole process the nefesh. Just depends on how you look at it. If you look at it from the top, it's all called the neshama. If you look at it from the bottom, it's all called the nefesh. Where does my nefesh come from? It comes from the ruach. And the ruach comes from the neshama or neshima of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu's point of view. And you'll find this neshama shenosata bi, right? That's coming from Hashem's point of view. Neshama shenosata bi, at the end.
Like we're saying that every day that process is
happening. That process is happening every day, maybe every minute, but certainly every day.
Only at night we say Yadcha Afkid Ruchi.
Ruchi. Yadcha Afkid Ruchi. So why does it say Yadcha Afkid Ruchi? Right, everybody knows the neshama goes up to Shemayim. Right, so
according to what you said, Monsey could be the whole process. But in white night we just saying.
Right. But in other words, the ruach stops. The ruach stops at night, and that's why when we sleep we're echad mishishim of misa. And as the ruach stops, so the neshama remains with HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kilu. He's done that neshama, and then he starts the process again in the morning. And so v'yodcha afkid ruchi, right? And then v'achziro bi nishmasi. And then he starts the process again every morning. So every morning there's a new process. So that's the delivery system that we described. And then he says here, and this is where we're at, V'adam harishon koydem achet zacha la'atzmusa. We don't get the atzmus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we just have the end of the whole neshima. But in the case of Adam Harishon, it means Adam Harishon koydem achet, he got the whole 9 yards. Do you know that the 9 yards refers to the length of the cannon that was full of all of the cannonballs? So there's 9 yards of cannonballs. In war, they used to release the whole cannon, so it was the whole 9 yards. It's not talking about baseball or football. It's talking about the whole 9 yards. War. So it's just so I'm saying it because it's a similar idea that the whole thing, the whole neshima came into the whole 9 yards, if you will, came to Adam Harishon. Atzmusa Yisbarach, like he blew the whole thing into Adam Harishon. However, Adam Harishon did a chet. And since he did a chet, so now it's mechafefes alav. And we answered the stira in the Nefesh Hachaim that sometimes one time he says that the neshama is b'toichenu, another time it says that it's behelim, b'nister, inside of us, another time it says chafefes alav. So it depends what. It depends what and it depends when. In which truth, in the time of Adam Harishon, it was completely in him. Then he did a chet. But in the time, and once he did a chet, it was chafefes alav. And the part that touched him, of the neshama, the nefesh, that's the part that touches us, that's mistateris menalos b'fnim. Now we have to work to get that out. It's not an automatic, we're walking around. It's by the way, just while we're here, that one of the things that happen when Adam Arishain did a chet was Vayasle Kosna Vayaslahem. Kosna is or. He made them clothing, as it's usually translated. So Makesher clothing to the chet. You have to put on a suit when you do a chet. You do a chet, you put on a suit. I mean, what's the Kosna Sar? So I think I've explained a number of times that it's probably not referring to clothing as in your pictorial Bible, but it's referring to the skin itself, kosnas or, meaning that it's not that we became like a bunch of motorcycle guys, once we did a chet, wearing leather jackets. The pshat in kosnas or is that we lost our transparency, and this is very important symbolically, because losing our transparency means that what we are, the or, so to speak, what we are is, besides for being a skin which protects the inside, it's also a chatzitza between us and the outside. So the symbolism of the kosnas or is that there was already, we were already trying to get klita in the Lincoln Tunnel. We're already trying to get something, but we have or, we have a chatzitza. The or is called life, or ayin vav resh. It's called life. Meir, the Gemara says in his sefer Torah, Meir was a sefer. So Lavlor, he was a sefer, and when he wrote it, B'sifrei Sherameir Yakasu Kosnas Or Ba'alef. So it's impossible to say that he changed the Torah. But probably put a little footnote in there that someday it's going to be back, or the original or was or, Kosnas Or. And it's going to come back someday to be or with an aleph, but right now it's kosnas or. So there's two ways to. There's a kriyat ksiv there. There's Rameir, the sefer Torah Rameir kosnas or im aleph. So Haladik Gemara. Adam Arishan koydem achet zacha la'atzmusa of the neshama. Ubasivas hachet distalka mitoichai v'nisharo rak chayfefes alav levad. And then there's another exception to the rule besides Adam Arishan. Says the Nefesh Hachaim Levad Moshe Rabbeinu, Olav HaSholom. Moshe Rabbeinu. Shezacha la'atzmusa toich gufay. Because he really had the whole neshama, not just chayfefes alav, but within him. Hover. L'chein nikra Ish ha'elokim. I just want to point out, I don't want to sound like a moderni or something like that, but Moshe Rabbeinu was really a very spectacular human being. I mean, if you just we had the Chumash, he gave us the Torah, we're so used to hearing Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Ish ha'elokim, but it's just like a Haladik story of a man who grew up in Egypt and became Ish Elokim. It's an amazing story. Like Al Tshuva did well. He became Ish Elokim. Spoke to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, started off as a sort of a civil rights leader. But he in his neshama he understood. This was what I'm trying to bring out is you see the different madregas of his neshama as he went along. His neshama, Moshe Rabbeinu is different from the beginning of Shmos till the end of Devar. He's different, Moshe Rabbeinu. At the beginning he stuttered, at the end he didn't stutter. There was a lot of things, but at the beginning his neshama was telling him, you got to help the Jews. You got to make sure you got to end the slavery. So he was like, one of these great civil rights leaders of history that's ending slavery for the people, for the Jewish people. But as he went on, we don't know what happened in 60 years in Midian, and Chazal tell us he went to Ethiopia and he became a king. But whatever it was, when he came to he went to Yisro. Why did he go to Yisro? Yisro was also a very spiritual person. Obviously, he was connecting with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it seems like when he came to the sneh, this is just my interpretation, by the time he came to the burning bush, he was ready. He came to a whole different madrega to have this kind of nevuah from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you're going to come back to this spot. It's going to be called Har Sinai. and you're going to get even bigger nevuah. So this was a spectacular story of not just a story of leadership, which he was, but a story of how a human being can grow. And again, the reason I'm saying it wasn't like a modernity is because this is not a movie about Moshe Rabbeinu, like how he became a great man. But we need to understand that Moshe was something different than Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak, Yaakov, something different, a different level apparently of nevuah that he reached, that he could come to a place of lechem lo yachalti, mayim lo shasisi. He didn't need to eat, he didn't need to drink. He was an ish alakim. So in Moshe Rabbeinu, the sentence here which describes this phenomenon is Levad Moshe Rabbeinu alav Hashem shezacha la'atzmusa taif gufa. He was zoche to atzmusa, to the atzmus of the neshama that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the breath that HaKadosh Baruch Hu breathed, okay, was straight into him. It wasn't chofefet Allah. It was within him, mamash.
Can it be that the whole story of the Antikar or funnel that he put the matzvah on, that's the or that was Kollel HaKadosh Baruch Hu couldn't handle?
I would say that, except that I said a different shot on Shabbos, so I don't want to contradict myself. But clearly, he was zocha to or.
Which we couldn't handle. I mean, that's like matzvah.
Right. But I mean, just to put it in context of what we're saying over here, that means that the kusnos or turned into or with an aleph. It was like the sefer Torah over Meir. What for everybody else is kusnos, and all of a sudden that transparency. It's hard to imagine somebody without skin. It's hard to imagine somebody without those machitzos. With kusnos or Yadua. Shekol Gimel Lamas Bria Yitzira Asiya Yemchinas Haneshama Delahain Ulamalahu Lakus Gamel. That from on the top in the world of Bria, where the neshama starts, we always say that the neshama starts in the Tachas Kisei HaKavod, right? That's in the world of Bria. It's completely spiritual. There's nothing physical. It doesn't look like anything. It's not the pshat. Roev Eino Niro. We learned the Gemara. Roev Eino Niro. The neshama is not something you can see. So they stop trying to. I have the very, very distinct disadvantage of having gone to school as a kid, and it's just it's terrible. So like when you're, if you come to Yiddishkeit with a mature mind, so you understand you can't see the neshama. You can't understand. You understand you can't see Hashem. You understand that like a person of mature mind understands that I can't understand even nevuah. But when you're a kid, they want to explain to you. So somehow or another, you get a picture of Hashem in your mind. You get a picture even of Moshe Rabbeinu in your mind. You get a picture of the neshama. In my mind, I have a picture of Hashem. I can't brainwash myself, wash my brain to get it out. I can remember the teacher writing that here's the goof, here's the neshama, in the wrong place, the wrong shape. Everything was wrong about it. But okay. So it's ashreichem if you didn't go to cheder. So on top of this pipe, when it's coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, kus gamor. Kamoshikasu, Bais Chaim, like the Arizal says in Bais Chaim, Sharat Selem, Parak Aleph, Reish Sharat Siroi Lamais, Atzilus Bria Yitzir Asiya. There's a section of the Arizal devoted to the four Lamais, Bagdamas Rav Chaim Vital, and Rav Chaim Vital talks about this Talmud of the Arizal and Arichas and his Hakdama to the Eitz Chaim, Shaar Hashem is Parak Aleph. Rav Chaim Volozhin knew this stuff. V'zula sai, but besides for Moshe, or aside from Moshe, lo zoche eleh shum adam. Nobody got that close to the neshama. The neshama was not as present as it was by Moshe Rabbeinu. So it's something like Adam Arishan, right? Kodem Achet. It's like Adam Arishan, Kodem Achet, Moshe Rabbeinu. Well, Rak, what do we have? Behiros. Nitzaitze or misnaitzim mimeno aroisha adam hasayf elel. And this, Danny, is your chofefes, right? That nitzaitze or, let's translate, sparks of light. Misnaitzim mimeno, which fly from the neshama, the real neshama, shamayim. Al roisha adam, interesting. On the head of a person hasayf elel, you can grab some sparks. You're not getting the fire. You're getting sparks from the fire. Kol echad lefi madregasai, that depends already on your madrega, lefum shiur delay, and how much he means to say how much he built his shiur koima, what madrega he was raised to.
Is that the Kehillat, or is that even
It
still
could be.
neshama?
Could be. It could be. In other words, I don't know how much Moshe Rabbeinu.
Even just where the neshama, like the highest level of neshama of the three, is that what we're talking about, hovering above the person, or we all have neshama and then there's Kehillat for some?
I don't know. All depends on your madrega, but the point is we're not getting any of it, really. We're just getting a little bit of reception. Moshe Rabbeinu, which is what you're asking me.
Because we're not on this level.
Not on the level. Ain't klita. You get a little signal, and if it's 1970, you think, whoa, you're getting a lot of signal. Well, you're not getting a lot of signal. You're getting you're getting a drop of what's possible in the.
So what was it?
I remember at the beginning of the internet. So somebody was showing me when I worked at the OU. Somebody was showing me how on his computer, like they had what do they call it, a T1, like the internet really came in. So he showed me how he could load a web page, a web page in less than 5 minutes. I was like, whoa! It's usually a whole day's affair, just to get one page down. Like to us, if it's not working within a millisecond, like we call the company, what's going on here? Something's wrong. So it's like this is the sefer. When you don't have it, you think you have it, but you don't. When you have it, you know you didn't have it. So that's what Moshe Rabbeinu did.
So what was it about Moshe Rabbeinu? Was it something he did to get into this level?
So that's what I want to speak about, and also what level actually did Moshe Rabbeinu get to? Did he get the whole thing, like Adam Mauritian, more than Adam Mauritian, less than Adam Mauritian? Right? That's what. Apparently, Atzmusa, that's what he says here. Doesn't mean everything, all of Hashem. That would be pantheistic. It means all of the neshama. But the thing is, again, let me remind you that this was said to be different than the Baal HaTanya. Baal HaTanya is holding that we all have the neshama walking around with a bit of God within us. The neshama is Atzmusa Yisbarach, but it's Chayfefes alike. But what about Moshe Rabbeinu? Did he walk around with the whole thing? So I just want to.
Where are the Avos in all this?
Where are the Avos in all this? Also a good question. It's a good question. Let me just try to explain something here very easily. The Torah says at the beginning, at the end of Bereshis, at the end of Parshas Bereshis before Noach, that the end of Bereshis starts with people going bad. This is before the Mabul. Hashem said, "La yadain ruchi ba'adam la'olam." I can't. It sounds like that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is deliberating as to whether this whole creation of humanity makes any sense. I'm seeing that these people that I created, remember that the reason HaKadosh Baruch Hu created is to make a dira for HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'tachtonim. But we're running after women. It says here. And we started to do chatoyim. Haaretz hinei nishchasa. It says a few seconds later. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Vayomer Hashem. Now this can be read, can be taken, I should say, two ways. Vayomer Hashem la yadai ruchi ba'adam la'olam. What does that mean? The translation. No? Somebody else go to Cheder here? La yadain ruchi ba'adam la'olam.
It's kind of dear.
When he's been always.
So the Rashi says, "La Yisrael v'yorev ruchi alai b'shvil ha'adam." I'm no longer going to be getting upset about Adam. In other words, Adam was a disappointment.
Lost cause.
Disappointment. So you go through different stages with disappointments. First you hope, then you're disappointed, and then you say, Mapul. It's Mapul time, right? So this was a very negative pasuk, really. Layadai, I created man. Now look at the pasuk. Layadai ruchi. Ruchi. What's his ruach? What's the ruach Hashem? So we know the ruach Hashem. He's not talking about anonymity. Hashem wasn't depressed. It wasn't a problem with him. But my ruach, I blew just a couple of pages ago. I blew this neshama into Adam al yedei ruach and layadai ruchi ba'adam la'ila b'shagam hu basar. Because what is b'shagam? B'shagam hu basar. V'hayu yama meya v'esrim sham. And sachakol. So b'shagam is translated usually as the way it was translated for me. Stachfart, a mensch. Shagam, sof kol sof. The lashon is lashon gam. Shagam, sof kol sof. Shagam, hu basar. This is a rare case of trying to understand Hashem's thinking. Hashem's thinking over here. B'shagam hu basar. And sof kol sof, at the end he's flesh. I made a person, at the end he's flesh. Zachfart mensch. V'hayu yamav, and it's not like he's there's something eternal over here. Hayu yamav meya v'esrim shana, he's going to sof kol sof, live 120 years. This is the makar of saying God Me'av Esrim. Anish lives Me'av Esrim Shana 120 years. It's interesting he gave a passage. So the Gemara says in Chulin, end of Chulin, Kuflam Zayin. The Gemara says Mordechai min HaTorah minayin. See more drawer. This was Parsha. Like Besamim, the way you made the Besamim was more drawer, you ground it up. Mordechai had to go through some type of a grind. So, the Gemara starts out with the premise, Lake Emil's in the lake. Lake Emil's in the lake, Rebizah by rice. There's no such thing as something which is not in the Chumash. So where do you find Mordechai in the Chumash? Where do you find even a remez? And of course, it means where do you find a remez to the type of anti-Semitism and the oppression? And where do you find that in the Chumash? You find the Toshach, more drawer, Besamim. Something you have to grind before the Reach goes out. Esther midat Torah minayin. Where do you find Esther in the Torah? Astir panai b'yoymahu. There's going to come a time when Hashem is hidden. Esther, even though it's a Persian name, Esther. We would never name our daughters Esther. It's a Goyish name, Esther. But the Gemara says it's a Persian name. Esther, her name was Hadassah. It's called Megillas Esther. And the reason is Astir panai b'yoymahu. We took on this Persian word. Mordechai is also a Persian name. They're all, John, Jim, Bartholomew, Mordechai, Esther. These were all non-Jewish names, but they had a makar. Then the Gemara says, Moshe midat Torah minayin. So I say, hold on a minute. Mordechai, where's he berubas of the Torah? Okay, we found a Rebbe. Esther, where's she berubas of her found a Rebbe. Moshe doesn't need a Rebbe. He's there a couple thousand times.
So he does.
You need Rebbe's. We're going to find some kind of a Rebbe's for Moshe. Oh, Torah already spoke about Moshe. The whole Torah is called Torah's Moshe. What do you mean the Torah already spoke about Moshe? So Moshe midat Torah minayin.
It's name. Why we should see it?
Okay, Mayim Mishisu.
We can have them recorded to it.
Yeah, everything's in the Torah. So what's the Gemara's kasha? Moshe midat Torah minayin. So the Gemara says this pasuk that Moshe midat Torah minayin b'chsiv b'shagam hu basar. B'shagam is the same gematria as Moshe, right? The mem is a mem, and the shin is the shin, and the gimel and the base is a hey. So you have Moshe mem shin hey. So b'shagam hu basar. And Gemara, it's not the Balatur. It's a Gemara before b'shagam hu basar. Even Rashi brings it. B'shagam is talking about Moshe. V'hayu yamav me'av esrim shana. How long did Moshe Rabbeinu live? So, B'shagam hu basar b'hayama me'av esrim shana. Rashi says further, actually at the beginning of Noach, that Selucha Teva Atse Gofar, make for yourself, Hashem said to Noach, make for yourself an ark, Atse Gofar. Atse Gofar Kidam Tasas Ateva Chafarta Oisa Ibayis Ubichutz Bakoifer. So Chazal say that there's two tevas of the Torah. There's the teva of Noach and the teva of Moshe, and there's two being destroyed by waters, being protected by the teva. One is by the time of the Mabul, which is in the beginning of Noach, and he was protected by the teva. Moshe Rabbeinu also went into a teva and was protected from the water. This was big water. The Nile was not like a little river. The Nile looks like an ocean. It has the characteristics of an ocean. So if you look at the Nile, for other people again, what are those things in school? The coloring books, like Miriam standing here and Masparo is standing there, and he pushes the thing across. This was, and sharks and all kinds of things going on in the water over there. So he was protected from the teva. And the teva was a miniature, if you will, of the big teva. And Ad Kedei Kach, Rashi tells us at the beginning of Shmos that it was coated with the same materials that the teva was coated with. So when you see this line, this comparison, this parallel between Moshe Rabbeinu and the Mabul, Ad Kedei Kach, that Moshe was the tikkun of Noach. What Noach didn't do, Moshe Rabbeinu did do. Moshe Rabbeinu went and saved the people. Noach didn't save the people. Noach was saved by an ark, and Moshe was saved by an ark. So there's a parallel. So it's not so kasha why Moshe Rabbeinu is brought here. I have Noach, he's looking at Noach Hashem, and he's looking at Moshe. And Noach we're talking about here, but B'Shagam, Moshe Rabbeinu is also Hu Basar. V'hayu Yamav, all of a sudden, Me'av Esrim Shana. Hayu Yamav Huz. So, okay, the positive shot is it took this was from this moment, Noach started to build the Teva. It was a 120-year process to build the Teva. But it's talking about V'hayu Yamav. We all understand that the positive shot is that he lived 120 years. So that's talking about Moshe. There's something else just comes to mind as the Arizal says. Moshe Rabbeinu said in this parsha, Yisisa, the various parsha, "Macheni na misifrecha asher kasafta." Hashem wanted to destroy the Jewish people, and he said and started new people from Moshe Rabbeinu. Macheni na, better erase me from the whole Torah. I don't need to be in the Torah. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking to save the Jews. So macheni na, erase me. Macheni, same letters as Mei Noach. Arizal says macheni, and our letters is Mei Noach.
Moshe was born in Mount as well.
Mei, where's our name? With a no. That's yours. There's not the Arizals. Macheni, Mei Noach.
We say Moshe was born Mount as well.
Macheni.
Therefore, it's Noach.
Noach.
What's he saying? There is the same words in there.
He's saying that by him saying Mecheni Na, he was doing a tikkun for what Noach did. What Moshe Rabbeinu was doing was giving up his life and his reputation and his name and his eternity, his netzach, for Klal Yisrael. Mecheni Na, it was a beautiful thing that he said. Mecheni Na, it was a beautiful thing. That he was willing to forgo everything and just don't kill the Jewish people. And Noach did not have that attitude. So we always talk about what's the difference between Noach and Avram. But we don't talk so much about what maybe even a better subject, which is the difference between Noach and Moshe, because, why do I say the better subject? Because Moshe, b'daraisa, Rashi learns, we'll talk about that sometimes, the gematria is there. Rashi learns b'daraisa is Darishal Avram. B'shagam hu basar is talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. So again, let's read the pasuk again. Vayomer Hashem le'yadayin ruchi ba'adam la'olam. Am I ever going to get satisfaction out of a man? B'shagam, even Moshe Rabbeinu, hu ish, hu basar. He's still a basar. In other words, there's always going to be this possibility of failure. So even Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm talking, don't forget Noah. Moshe Hashem's thinking way into the future. B'shagam hu basar. And what's Moshe Rabbeinu going to do for the world? Hayayama me'av esrim shana. Moshe Rabbeinu is going to live 120 years. The world is big. The world is long. So when Hashem is considering the possibility of the world, what he's really considering over here is not the present condition of the world. Hashem's much bigger than that. He's saying that even there'll be a tikkun of the world, it'll be through Moshe, but b'shagam huish. Moshe is a chamensh, the chvarta mensch. And Svarta only going to live 120 years. I can't create something here which is such an important thing, right? That Moshe Rabbeinu is the Chvarta mensch. That's where he started off. The story of Moshe Rabbeinu is remarkable because he was a person. In a certain way, if I say Leo Navi is more remarkable, he went up, he went down, he was forever, it's more remarkable. But that's not an ish. Elio Navi was a Navi, he was a person, then he became a Malach. Elio Malach Habris, right? The Malach is Malach Habris, he's a Malach. Chanoich, Salechim Elohim, he became a Malach. According to Chazal, he became the Malach Metatroi. Pinchas also. Moshe is a different thing. B'shagam huish. The godless of Moshe Rabbeinu is really more in Hashem's interest, in a million malachim. But what's in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's interest is, can a man do a tikkun in the world? Noach couldn't do it. I got another one in my pocket here. I've got a Moshe Rabbeinu in my pocket. So now, okay, Chidushim Nifloim, Noach, Moshe Rabbeinu, B'shagam. This is probably what the Gemara means. Moshe Minater Minayin. That's you don't need a remez for Moshe. That's not what we're talking about. We need what Moshe Minater Minayin. That where do we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had in mind a Moshe Rabbeinu that could be matzel and be misakin the whole world? Moshe, that's Moshe. When we're talking about Moshe, Moshe Minater Minayin, where do we see the tikkun of Moshe? And the answer is b'shagam hu ish. Now this is it's a double-sided sword, because on the one hand, Moshe Rabbeinu can make the tikkun. On the other hand, the chamensh. So this is, if you will, I'm speaking like this just to explain it. Not that this was the suffix of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The suffix of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is that, what's my plan here? My plan is I'm going to create a people, a lowly people, a human people, a people with a mortal people, and I'm expecting them to make a dira b'tachtonim. I'm expecting them to make netzach. By the way, what did Moshe Rabbeinu do? He made netzach. If you look at the Kabbalistic spheroids of Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, netzach zu Moshe. Right? And even in the netzach is Moshe. He did make something netzach in his 120 years. We're here to tell the story, and not just us. The whole world changed. The truth is that not just in a spiritual way, but even in a gashmiistic way, Moshe Rabbeinu changed the whole world. Even though, as far as I'm concerned, the whole Judeo-Christian is all a bunch of baloney anyway. But sof kol sof, there were some basic ideas that Moshe Rabbeinu did to change the whole world. So the ish is a downside. Unfortunately, I'm only human. But on the other hand, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's plan was for humans to do this. This was exactly HaKadosh Baruch Hu's plan. Can I do something which is good for the humans? And should I make a flood? So the answer is, he destroyed the world, but he didn't destroy the world. He destroyed the world, but he kept Noach alive. He kept the Teva, and that Teva came out in Tevas Moshe. So Moshe min HaTorah minayin. Shaar Inyan, the Nefesh Hachaim teaches that Adam had the Atzmusa shel Nishmasa shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and so did Moshe. Ish Elikim. But it doesn't seem Levad Moshe Rabbeinu Olav Hashem Shezachal Atzmusa Toich Gufay. He still had a goof. Toich Gufay. L'chein Nikra Ish Elikim. Bishagam. Just want you to pay attention to the words here. Bishagam. It's Matim. Bishagam Hu Basar. Right. By Ish Moshe. Like in other words, the Ha'ish Moshe. Moshe was called an Ish. Ish Elikim. It's almost an oxymoron. Ish Elikim. How is it possible for a goof to fartrog an elikus? And that was what Moshe Rabbeinu demonstrated, and what apparently Noach did not. So I sent you, if you have your cell phone, I just sent you the Rambam. I just want to learn together for 5 minutes, quickly. The Rambam in Shemona Prakim, you have this. I sent it, if you have the link. The Rambam in Shemona Prakim, Perek Shvi. Shemona Prakim is the Rambam's, this is the words of the Rambam's own introduction to Pirkei Avos. He wrote, just like in Pirush HaMishnayos, he wrote an introduction to Pirkei Avos, and the introduction is profound and phenomenal, and some of the most quoted Rambams is in this introduction to Pirkei Avos, Shemona Prakim, and he skips over. He says different yisodos that you need to understand. Really, yisodos of Yiddishkeit. The two great introductions of the Rambam is the introduction to Avos and the introduction to Perek Chelek and Sanhedrin, where he puts forth the Yud Gimel Ikrei Hadas, Yisodos Hadas. So this is what we have here. Perek Shvi, he talks about Mechitzos Havilain V'Inyoneha.
Shvi or Shvi?
Perek Shvi.
The Shvi.
Perek Shvi. I only sent, I think, Perek Shvi. Mechitzos Havilain. Now, you hit on the Mechitzos. He's not talking about the things in Shul and Vilonot. He's not talking about curtains on your windows. He's talking about very spiritual things. And it just let's read a little bit together. Harbe Yimsa b'Midrashos u'ba'Agados v'gam b'Talmud sheyesh bein hanavim. There's a difference between the Nevi'im mishiyiras alikim me'achoyrei mechitzos v'loin rabbis. Not all prophets are created equal. B'nei mishiyiro me'achoyrei mechitzos v'loin mo'atos. So think of it, says the Rambam, as mechitzos, or curtains that exist between me and Hashem. And different Nevi'im had different thicknesses or different levels of mechitzos between them and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So just think about me trying to talk to you through a mechitza. So depending on how thick and how opaque and how whether the sound can get through the material of mechitzos, you have different types of nevuah. Says the Rambam, Akol lefi kirvosam elikim v'roim mekaymo. That different Nevi'im, so Yeshayahu had one set of mechitzos that were stopping him from hearing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a very thin veil. And Moshe Rabbeinu, and well, Ad Shamar Shemoshe Rabbeinu Olav Shalom, Ra'as Elikim Me'achoyrei Mechitza Achas Me'ira. The Rambam says, this all comes from Chazal, that Moshe Rabbeinu, let's say, for just to say, let's say there are 10 mechitzos. So we have 10 mechitzos between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A little bit you can hear, but a little bit you can see, but not much. Moshe Rabbeinu got it. Yeshayahu had 5 mechitzos. Maybe Yirmiyahu had 3. I don't know. But Shmuel HaNavi was almost like Moshe Rabbeinu. But Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe LaMoshe, Lo Kam Kemoshe, there was no Navi like Moshe Rabbeinu. He had mechitza achas.
The last one.
It was one thin veil between him and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's the pshat that he saw, Koloimar Shkufa, Amram histakel b'spaklaria hamir. The words of Chazal for this is that Moshe Rabbeinu's nevuah was very clear. Spectacle, spaklaria, very, very clear. Aspaklaria shem hamare hanasis miguf shakuf kibedoylachu kisluchis. When you see somebody through a window, not the kind of glass that we're zocha to today, but a window, you see like those glass blocks, you see the image, but you're not really seeing the full thing as if the glass is not there. Glass has become very pure from the old, which I believe is a messianic advancement, that the glass has become very clear. Ad kadei kach, that nowadays there's a law that if you have a glass wall, you have to put little stickers on it so people don't walk into it and paint. It's almost like not there, but Moshe Rabbeinu had one vilon between him and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moshe Navar b'soif Kalim. V'akavona b'inyan hazeh, says the Rambam. Kavona is ma'asharim l'cha b'zeh she'anachnu b'yarnu kvar b'perek sheni shemaylos men dibrois mehen midoseha. This has to do with the midos. In Perek Sheni speaks about the midos of a person. Meaning, like, what are the actual mechitzos between us and Hashem? Gaiva, kas. Those things, it's not just like bad to get angry. That's not, yes, it's bad to get angry. But besides for being bad to get angry, that kol hakayes kilo eved avodah zarah. The pshat is that when a person is bekas, the curtain drops. And it's impossible to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Leiv nishbar, nitka. A person can humble themselves in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, anivus. So almost all the mechitzos are gone. You can talk to Hashem, Hashem can talk to you. So we're living in a bubble, like we're living with all these mechitzos. I'm just skipping. Hold with me a little. These chesroinus in a person. Yeshayahu, a Navi, said to the people that it's your avonos which are making the separation between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not just nevuah, by the way. In other words, if you don't see the Hashkafa Pratis in your life, it's because there's a vilon. There's something there which is separating that you're not seeing. It's an eyesight problem.
It's up to us.
Like there's clarity. So what does the clarity come from? Removing these mechitzos, and these mechitzos let us see things that nobody else can see. The more mechitzos, and they're all based. The mechitzos are all midos rois. This is not Kabbalah. It's not the Pasha. You know what I mean? Like if a person is about Gaiva, how are you supposed to see? You can't even see another person. How are you going to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Person is Bakas. You don't see anybody. How are you going to see Hashem? And Hashem doesn't see you either. Like so, you just wrap yourself up in all these different.
It's one way from us. In other words, there are no mechitzas, but then we put up the mechitzas.
No klita.
We're preventing.
I was just looking in one of the Chassidish Svarim, translation of he speaks about bittul chametz. So of course chametz. I mean, it's true that the whole idea of bringing the Korban Pesach and was because the Mitzrayim worshipped the lamb, and now we're going to go and shecht it, and they worship bread also. This was an Egyptian chiddush, the idea of like making bread the way wonder bread, the way it is, rising and beautiful. This was an Egyptian chiddush. Boom, getting rid of that mechitza. So we say we make bittul chametz. You say I think Rabbi Melech points out that it should be kol chamira v'chamia dika birsusi should become batal v'havik ha'afra da'ara. So what like such a madrega to be able to say that all of the things which are This was the case in Mitzrayim, and it's the case in our life. All the things which are so cherished to us, things that are so important to us, our kavod and our ego and our, all that stuff, our gashmis, all of those things how many people could say that they become batal v'havik afar dara, like the afar dara. You know what afar dara means? That the person comes from afar and he goes back to afar. Like what's important here altogether? We come from afar, go back to afar. So how devatel ka'afar dar, everything is good. Like what's really important. So the ultimate mechitza, is the extreme importance that we give to everything that we have. All the things that, and all we're doing, we want those mechitzas, because those mechitzos, they protect us. If we want our dignity, we need a mechitza to protect it. Boundaries, kinds of mechitzos. Why does a person get bekas? This is a protective device. If I get angry, everybody backs off. It's geschmack. If I'm haughty, so everybody backs off. Everybody hates you, but you think everybody likes you. So it's at least they're not bothering, they're not touching me. So like all of these things are mechitzos. I want to finish on Thursday because it's too late, but I want to just how this fits into the Nefesh Hachaim. But the point is that it's not so doesn't even have to be so pronounced as something like gaiva. Just in general, I was once speaking to somebody who, in my opinion, was psychologically ill. Although I have that opinion about many people, not too many people, but Kamayim Panim upon him. But so I said to this woman, I said, you're in complete denial of the reality of life. And she said to me, it was just like so profound. She said, "Don't take my denial away from me. That's all I've got."
But she realized.
Yeah, it was like was so
Wow.
unbelievably deep, right? Don't take it away, And you know what? Okay, I hear you. I'm not gonna. They take away my denial. This is the only. It's like I'm standing in the freezing cold, and you're taking away my coat, and you're taking away my sweater, and you're taking away my shirt. You're taking away everything. What are you taking away? It's all I've got. Don't take it away. Don't take it away. So so this is also a klipa. It's also a mechitza. Like that we're not. The minute Omak Hadavar is that the minute we're willing to see Dvarim Gahaviyasan. So it's a shocking place to be. How many people are in the Madrega that they can live without any denial? How many people could be on the Madrega where they don't stay, that they could say the whole world is Ka'afra, Da'ara. I'm going to finish up Thursday, but just tell you, I once spoke, just an interesting thing, I was asked to speak for a conference of, it's called the Conference of Undertakers. There's a bunch of funeral directors, and they wanted to understand how to do a Jewish thing, like what's the difference between a Jewish thing and a
Goyim.
Goyim, yeah. They got the greatest, most appropriate names, like Amagan. I always like that one, Amagan funeral parlor, you're gone. There's Italian names, they're like, Amagan, that's like a chain in America, Amagan. But anyways, I'm trying to think, I can go through the rituals of what we do, what they do, what they don't do. We don't do cremation, this and that. But I said a yisoid, which I think was, I said, you need to understand that everything that you're doing in a funeral is to make it more comfortable for the family of the deceased. You're creating a coffin which costs between $10,000 and $50,000, made out of pure mahogany with air conditioning inside. And it makes people feel better to know there's a light inside. There's a light in there. You're going to get a pay extra for that. You're not, God forbid, lowering the casket or throwing dirt on the casket. You wouldn't do such a thing because this is telling people that this guy's done, and that's going to happen to me also. And you're not like you're laying grass down, and it's I lay me down on green pastures. Very nice, very beautiful. But I said, you go to a Harazesim. and look at a funeral. Here's a box. Who needs a box? You know, you can see the shape of the mace, and then you put the mace in the hole, and the guy is standing there. Give it to, you know, he's standing there, and then everybody takes a shovel. First one is the family. First shovel goes to the family. You throw dirt in the person's face. It's like unbelievable, like the difference. So you could say that, like, look how respectful you are, and look how disrespectful we are. And the answer is that toiv l'lechas l'beis ha'avol, l'lechas l'beis ha'mishta. Beis ha'mishta is kuloi denial. Beis ha'avol, that's where it's at. You know, the ka'afra da'ara. You know, you could stand on Pesach and say that kol chamira v'chamiyah v'ikav v'chusim have a ka'afra da'ara. There's no denial. All the veils are down. The veils are all off. There's no, you know, there's no no chatzitzas over here. Kids, stay outside. You're pregnant, not good for you. Okay, but you know that's what goes on in the you know the shrouds. You know the shrouds don't have pockets. Shrouds. That's a saying. You know how many pockets there are on the what do they call it? That the goyim on the tachrichim that the goyim use. Like it's all pockets. Like they have here a pocket, they put a handkerchief here and a rose there and this there. In the clothes that they bury people with, the tuxedo, the special tuxedos. They're a little cheap on it because they only have a front, not a back. You know, like it's a, but yeah, it's you rent the tuxedo. Yeah. Okay, I'll go part of what I'm trying to say is something very simple. That all of certainly Kas and Gaiva and all the midos says Rambam says the Pisios Sheba Adam, those hein hamachitzas. So let me just end with the ending, and then I'll go back to the beginning. Next time we learn is the Rambam. What's the ultimate mechitza? The ultimate mechitza is sof kol sof I'm alive. B'shagom hu basar. It's this basar which is sof kol sof a mechitza. So Moshe Rabbeinu, says the Rambam, was able to get rid of every mechitza, but sof kol sof b'shagom hu basar me'ev esrim shana tichyu. At the end of the day, there's doch hamen. She's forth hamen.
Is that how we need those for that?
Exactly what the Rambam.
I want to get
rid of that last mechitza. La yirani ha'adam v'chai. Moshe Rabbeinu, wait till you die. As long as you're alive, you can't. You're a person. B'shagam hu basar. So this is what the pasuk is. Ma'ir Moshe Rabbeinu is Ma'ir right here at the beginning of the Torah, and it gets to the teva and it gets to everything to the Moshe Rabbeinu.
So those brothers still potential?
A chance.